Hello, welcome to the Creators Guild podcast. I'm Chris Howell, and with me,
Jared Lovelady.
and we are here to talk about all things creative. And to start off with, on our creative journey, Jared, we wrote a second book.
Yeah.
Actually, we've written a couple more books.
Yes, we have.
We finished a second book, and then we unfinished a second book.
Yes.
So you said you started going back through and reading the unedited book 2.
Right.
And you said,
I said that it could have been put out the way it was.
yeah. So
it's better, I think, now.
yeah,
But it could have been put out the way it was.
yeah. We had Liz came back and said, "Hey guys, here's some of my thoughts," and Liz has some really good thoughts. So we were like, "All right, we'll give this a shot." So minor changes, but those minor changes have led to major rewrites of
Yeah.
areas where we're just that ripple effect. And since we have full-time jobs and we, life and sleep and all the stuff, it's taking longer, but we're closer. Like,
We're real close.
yeah. So we're getting there. We'll let you know. That's our update on book 2. But given that, yes, we could have put book 2 out in as it was, going back through and rereading it, we're like, man, we could have actually just like cleaned up some verbiage here or there and spelling errors, of course.
Yeah.
But other than that, we could have put book 2 out. So if you have hate, send it toward Liz wrapped in love. No, she's helped us quite a bit. But
It's going to get there.
it's going to get there.
We have a goal set,
Yes,
and I think we can make it.
I think so. It's going to take effort, but we are putting in the effort, and I think we're going to get it done really soon.
Yeah.
So fingers crossed. Send your hopes and your moral support our way. Again, just throw this out there another time. Your wealthy spinster or widow friends who need companionship and want to be philanthropic toward Jared. Okay, so today we're doing something a little bit different. We've been talking about, as we've mentioned before, we come up with random ideas. Just Jared will just get a phone call and it'll be, hey, here's this random idea about a different story or some alternate universe thing for our story. So today we wanted to try doing a little bit of yes-anding, meaning we're gonna try some improv. So where are we at, Jared? You looked up what?
We're on, it's Reedsy, best fantasy writing prompts.
Okay. So it's Reedsy, Reedsy,
Yeah.
right? So Reedsy.com. Give them credit. Reedsy.com. You go on there and they have how many are there?
There are 95 fantasy prompts.
Okay, 95 fantasy writing prompts. So what we're going to try today, we are going to randomly go through and get a prompt, and then we're going to try to improvise and make a story from that prompt today, right now. We haven't looked at these.
Yep. So first, I guess we need to pick a number between 1 and 5.
3. That's page.
Yeah,
I'm assuming.
there's 5 pages.
Okay.
Okay. Now, how do you want me to do this? Do you want me to just kind of scroll up and down and stop?
We should have got some dice.
Let's see.
Roll some dice.
1, 2, 3. 4,
Oh, do you
5,
have
6,
a quarter?
7, 8, 9, 10. Hang on. 11, 12.
Over there, you're figuring out 5 pages at
There's
94. So basically like 20-ish on a
I have-
page.
I think I still have
You have the dice app.
I think I do.
So if we roll the dice, if we're like, we roll the dice to get us, well, we picked page 3, so there's only 20, so we just need a D20.
Right. So
There'll be a couple extra, but the last few, we're not counting the last couple.
Where is it? I'm not finding it, but I can download one real quick. It'll just take a second.
Okay. I've got some dice somewhere, right?
If we were at my house, my computer, my dice are sitting right there.
Yeah, if Braden was down here, he probably has a D20 sitting right over there across the room.
Probably.
Braden is down there. Braden, D20. Where's your D20? Braden's going to grab a D20. Who's going to get here first? Braden with a physical D20 or Jared downloading a D20? And then we're going to roll the D20. See this? We're improvising right now. We didn't even plan how we were going to pick these. So total improv.
All right, I win.
Oh, Jared won. Oh, okay. Braden's rolling his. Quick, who's rolling first?
I got a 19.
Braden, what did you roll? A 2? Well,
2 or 19?
Yeah,
19 wins.
Okay. So what is prompt 19?
Okay. So that would be...
They're not numbered
No.
on there. It's going to be close to 19. That's okay. It's somewhere near the end. Okay, what do we got?
You start realizing that at least one aspect of every dream you have comes true the next day.
So every dream you have, you start realizing that at least one aspect of it comes true the next day.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, so throw out another rule that, I mean, let's first improv. Or, well, do we want to put rules at the beginning? I was going to say, is it just, does one aspect of the dream you had the night before, it comes true, like it exists, and then the next night you have a dream, the next day, do both of them exist? Like the one from the day before?
I don't know. What was number 2?
Because it could be... Because it could be you're having... It's a cumulative thing, and you're realizing things are coming true from your dreams.
What about
or
this?
Each day one thing comes true.
What about this? Write a story subverting a fantasy trope.
That sounds terrible. Well, what do you remember any dreams you've had recently?
I do not. I very rarely remember dreams.
Okay. Well, let's try this. Let's see how this goes. So we're just improvising. We're not going to get all the details, but high level, we're going to come up with a short story. Or if we were submitting a story for a competition and we got the topic, and this is the topic of your character in your story, every day they wake up and they start to realize that some aspect of a dream they've had the night before is now reality. Okay. So it was the 5th night in a row that Tom woke up in a cold sweat. Why did he wake up in a cold sweat?
Well, we'll go with the dream I still remember from I don't even know how long ago. Falling off of just like a little ledge,
mm-hmm.
and right under the ledge is a snake looking at me.
So you fall off a ledge and there's a snake.
Yeah.
Okay, so
just a little ledge, just like rolling off the front porch or something.
Yeah. But still, so it's one of these startle, huh? You startle plus Ha! Snake!
Yeah.
Right there in your face.
Right.
Okay. So he wakes up in a cold. Would you say his name was Tom? See, I can't remember what his name was. Tom. We'll stick with Tom. Tom jerked awake. The fifth morning in a row. In a cold sweat, and it was the same part of the dream he'd had for five consecutive nights. Each time he woke up after he was on a porch, laying on the edge of his porch. What he remembers is laying on the edge of his porch, and as he rolls, suddenly he starts falling off the edge of the porch. But not only was he falling off the edge of the porch, but he's startled by the fact that right under him, off the edge of the porch, is a great big, what color snake?
Brown. I don't know. Most snakes are brown.
Does a diamond patterned?
Sure.
Okay, is a large brown snake coiled just below him as though ready to strike, with glistening slightly orange diamonds down its back, and menacing eyes that stare at him, and as he's startled, it's just getting ready to strike when he wakes up, jerks awake in a cold sweat. He couldn't figure out why he keeps having the same dream. But he knows there's more. He knew there was more to his dream. But he couldn't remember what the rest of the dream was. How did he get on the porch? Why was there a snake? And why did he wake up at that point in a cold sweat every time for the last 5 nights in a row?
Okay.
So he's laying there getting his breath, trying to think of why was he having this dream? His heart is starting to calm down when his alarm clock goes off. And just like the 5 nights before, it just before his alarm clock went off every day, and he didn't have time to lay there and think about it. He had to go to school.
Mm-hmm.
So he gets up, gets ready for school, takes a shower. He tumbles out of bed and stumbles to the kitchen. That is a reference the other day, just a couple days ago. I could not remember the words. I was like, something out of bed and stumble to the kitchen. What the heck is it? Dolly Parton, 9 to 5. I could not remember what it was. So we looked it up, and I'm like, I will remember that forever now. Tumble out of bed, stumble to the kitchen. But he didn't pour himself a cup of ambition. He instead poured himself a bowl of life cereal, because even though it tastes like a stick, he loved it. But and his mom came in. Tom, you better hurry. You're going to be late. You took another shower this morning. That's unusual for you. Not that I mind the fact that you're taking a shower, but 5 days in a row. And you look tired. You sleeping okay? Yeah, I've had some weird dreams the last few nights. And it just, taking the shower in the morning helps. And his mom walks over in her motherly way, pulls his hair, lifts his up, feels his head, lifts up looks into his eyes. Well, if you're coming down with something, you've got finals coming up soon, you can't afford to get sick, You've got the last track meet of the year. This one's the big one. So if you have any more trouble sleeping, we can try some of my melatonin, but if you're coming down with something, I want to get you in to see the doctor. So don't be their normal Tom and try to hide it from me. I know, Mom.
Okay.
So he goes to school, and when he's at school, he's going to gym later in the day. No, he's going to science. He's got it's his AP science class that he's going to. And when he walks into the science room and he pulls the door open, he's looking for Linda, because they always sit by each other. They don't have an assigned seat. But if he doesn't get to class quick enough, then James always tries to sit by Linda instead of him, and all the seats are in pairs. So he's glancing around, standing in the door, and then as he turns on the end, he's suddenly startled and jumps back. The snake from his dream is hanging on the inside of the science room door. And it's a poster for a biology and science and whatnot thing that's going to be in town. That's coming up. And it's like a flyer for that. It's a poster for that. The science thing. His teacher had been talking about some event that's coming up, and they're going to have like one of the things they're studying in this AP science class is genetics, and there are genetically modified animals. And right there on the poster, the snake from his dream in the position that it was when he saw it in his dream.
Yep.
Like ready to strike, as though he's rolled off the porch, and there it is. Right there. And he stumbles backward, startled by the poster, trips over something, and hears a "hey!" And he turns around to see Linda on her butt in the hall. Then what?
Then what? Well, I don't know. He's kind of freaked out, I would say. And apologizes, helps Linda up. Can't stop looking at the snake.
Yeah, the whole class. He's distracted. And he's trying to think, was that there? And he asks Linda about it. She's like, I don't know. Like, I don't know what it is. It's just a poster for the snake. Why are you so worried about it? Does he tell her about his dream?
Yes. And she just says, you probably saw that poster all week. It's been up there, maybe. And it just got into your head, got into your dreams.
But he has science. He has his AP science class on Tuesdays and Thursdays, and this is Thursday, and the poster wasn't there on Tuesday. Maybe maybe Mr. Swanson had it up at his desk when you were here Tuesday and you saw it. He says, but I've been having the dream. This is the last night, was Wednesday night. That was the 5th night. I couldn't have seen it before that. Maybe you had the poster last week. Just something got into your head. Like he's been talking about this fair that's coming up for the past 3 weeks because we can get extra credit if we go. Like, but he didn't show us the poster. He said he was going to have get a poster and put it up. But
Lando just tells him that it's all in your head.
yeah,
And
it's all in your head.
so he finally just accepts it and moves on.
Yeah. It's probably not even the same snake. You never remember dreams exactly the way you think they were. It's just a snake. And you just think it's that snake. Because, a lot of snakes look alike. So maybe that's it. He's like, no, that's the snake. Okay. It's the snake, and you're crazy, and we're going to get in trouble if you don't shut up. But so he shuts up. He struggles with his classwork a little bit because he can't stop looking up and seeing the snake. So goes through the rest of the day. Just feels weird all day. Goes to track after to practice. And while he's running, there's some kids on the side, because kids will gather into groups when they'll get into little gaggles and whatever. And there's a couple of kids off on one end of the track, and they're laughing and talking and whatnot. And one of them screams, and they're his track mates, and he's done with his lap and he's breathing hard and he's sweaty. And he comes over. He's like, "What's going on, guys?" And Sarah turns around and is like, "Look at this cool snake that Will found over here in the grass." And it looks just like the same snake. So, multiple instances. I'm just pulling this out of the air. Multiple instances of the snake.
Okay.
So, I think that's a pretty good setup to get started. But we need to get with, okay, what's the whole story arc? Because this is gonna go on a long time if we go at the pace we're going. But what do you think for beginning of a story?
It's okay for a beginning, I think. Yeah. Does the snake have significance? Maybe not. Maybe that's just the first instance because it says, every day.
Yeah.
Something comes true the next day.
Yeah. So this is my thought, and you see what you think, or see what you can add to it. So each night, so this is day 5. He's had the same dream. He hasn't seen stuff from his dream, but this, like the snake thing, he's like, "Oh, that was just right out of my dream." The next night, he has the same dream, but when he wakes up, the snake thing, it startles him, but he doesn't wake up in the same cold sweat. Instead, he wakes up after he sees the snake, but somehow he's kind of prepared for it in his dream this time. It's like he's starting to get some lucid dreaming where he knows it's coming. He's going to roll off the porch. Then he still wakes up and is like, the snake was there again. But he remembers a little bit more. Before rolling off the porch, why was he on the porch? And he remembers before rolling over and falling, and there's the snake, he was laying on his back looking. So he was actually standing on the surface of the planet that he is unfamiliar with. I mean, he's not on Earth, or he's in some unknown place that's to him dream state. He knows he's on another planet,
Mm-hmm.
and on that planet, like he remembers he's on the planet, standing on the porch. On There's a little house there. He's standing on the porch, and he lays down to look up at the stars of that new world that he's on, and that's when he rolls off, and there's a snake. And then the next day, he's going to school again, and this time he takes the bus to school. On the way to school, there's a billboard, and he's like, that billboard, they must have put it up overnight. It wasn't there. And the billboard is a little house on another planet, and it's for some like think beyond, and it's for a science event, a scientific event coming, and it's like an advertisement for that. Think beyond, and it shows a little house with a porch and somebody standing on that porch that looks the silhouette of a person that looks an awful lot like him, standing there looking up at the stars.
Okay.
And then that he's like, oh, this is just so weird. And he goes to school. Tracks down Linda to tell her, hey, the snake. Like there was a snake at track. I saw the snake on the poster, and then when I went to track, there was a snake just like that. And she says there couldn't have been a snake like that because the snake in the poster was a genetically modified snake for this science thing. Like, yeah, but listen, my dream that I had last night, I was standing on the porch of a house, looking up at the stars. Before I laid down, and the same part of the dream happened, where I rolled over and there was a snake. But then on the bus this morning, I saw the billboard. And she's like, yeah, I saw a billboard like that too. It's for, the big science fair coming up. It's going to be here. They've started to put up things on some local things to let people know about it. And then the next night, another portion of the dream before, and it's little increments before that. More and more stuff that he each morning when he wakes up, he remembers what happened before standing on the porch on a different planet looking at the stars.
Okay, but where are you going with the arc?
I have no idea. But like this is how sometimes you think of, oh, I thought of a great ending for a story. Now I got to get there. I'm like, this, based on what we're like, this is kind of a sci-fi feeling direction that it's going. So kind of what I thought percolating in the back of my mind is there's actually something about this fair. Something to do with, it could be, I was thinking magic. Did you ever see the movie Something Wicked This Way Comes?
No.
So it is like a it's not really horror, fantasy witch type movie. And my brain kind of went down the pathway of what if it's kind of like that? The Something Wicked This Way Comes is a circus that comes to town. And then in the circus, it's Ray Bradbury wrote the story, Something Wicked This Way Comes. And then there's the movie from it, and people that go to the circus, like stuff happens to them at the circus. So not necessarily like that, but he's getting these premonitions, these things in his dreams. So maybe at the science fair, the uh, there's something about him, or maybe it was just random. Maybe it's not specific to him. He just got randomly picked. That that fair is actually, um, there are, like, maybe it's aliens that are going around and they're being like, look at the sciencey stuff, whatever, and somehow taking over cities, taking over towns, or trying to spread different things into, I don't know. I don't know. I'm just, none of that sounds real great. But there's something about this science event that's happening that he's getting premonitions about through dreams, going a little bit further back, a little bit further back. And as it gets closer to the fair, all those, he's seeing the little things, and some of the things start happening. Um, if we want to go more night at the museum ish, is, so it started out poster of the snake and the snake. The next one, the planet on a billboard, but maybe some weird things actually, like Stranger Things type stuff, where stuff starts happening unexplained. I like this direction better. Actually unexplainable stuff starts happening in town. Like some people disappear. Uh, um, uh, first maybe a sinkhole opens up under one of the buildings in town, and he's like, "Oh my gosh, that happened in my dream." And Linda is again like, "You, all, like, this is crazy. This stuff isn't from your dreams." But then he has another dream, and then like some weird stuff starts happening. Some people disappear. Some people wake up and they don't have faces. Um, you know,
I had an idea.
mhm.
It's totally different. But
Yeah,
it goes back to partially what you're saying. He's remembering a little more of this dream every night,
yeah,
and something in the world is from that dream every night, whatever.
yeah.
And what if it is aliens? And the whole purpose of this science fair thing is actually their first contact with
Okay.
humanity. But they've been embedding things in his dreams, and they've been doing it to maybe a lot of people. And the more, so the closer they get, the more he's remembering, the more he remembers, until the beginning of the dream is him meeting the aliens and them saying, we're going to make contact and whatever. And so every day it's a little more, and it leads back to the day he finally gets there. He's like, I've done all this. There's going to be aliens, and then there's aliens.
Yeah. Now, is there something, like, I'm trying to think from a outside of his dreams and everything, like the conflict. I mean, from a short story perspective, like a lot of the stuff with Ray Bradbury, like you just get there and you're like, and we're there.
Yeah.
So this could be an extension of, Ray Bradbury's stories on Mars. He wrote a lot of stories about Mars and Martians and stuff like that.
Yeah.
So kind of like that from a short story perspective, where, he's really feeling like he's starting to panic. I'm getting close to the beginning of the dream, and I'm seeing all these things, and he's starting to feel like stuff's going crazy, and he hasn't gotten to the beginning of the dream, and the next day he just really feels like everything he wakes up to and remembers, he sees, and it's something in relation to that science event that's happening. Like every single time, it's billboards, it's cars, it's people, things they say, things they wear. And he tries to tell his mom about it. He tries to tell Linda about it. They won't. He like writes stuff down from his dream, and then he's like, "Look," and then Linda's like, "Wait, you wrote that down?" He's like, "Yeah, I got up this morning, and instead of taking a shower and stuff, I wrote down everything I could think of, in the dream. This is what I wrote down. And then she's like, oh man, well, it's like the first day it was the snake. The next day, the planet, standing on the planet, on the, a house on a planet that's not Earth, looking at the stars. But it was me. I was the one standing on the front porch. And that's what was on the billboard. And then, and he just writes back. And then I wrote this today, that one of these things I was going to see. And this is what I saw. Look, right over there. And the first time she's like, I think it's just all coincidence, And then the next day he's like, I added more. I remembered it. So he's like, shows up at her door in the morning. He's like, I'm not taking the bus today. And he doesn't have a car. He's old enough to drive, doesn't have a car, but he has his bike. They live in, where they live in town. It's far enough to get picked up by a bus, but he jumps on his mountain bike, books it over to Linda's house. And she's like, what the heck are you doing here? And he's like, I wrote it all down. I had the dream again last night. And this is what I wrote down. I'm going to see one of these things. I'm going to see something about this today. And she's like, you're obsessed. And he's like, yes, of course I'm obsessed. This is like the 7th time day this has happened. I finally started writing it down and you still don't believe me. It's like, so you're going to stay with me. We have 4 classes together today. We're going to eat lunch. You're going to stay after and go to track with me. It's like, I can't stay after. You're like, no, you're going to stay with me all day except for the 3 hours we don't have class. But if you see anything like this, if I see anything like this, I'm going to pull my phone out and take a picture and send it to you. And she's like, this is getting so annoying. But then he does it. And she's like, oh my gosh. And she starts he's like, see? She's like, yeah, that's really weird. That's like that's really weird. He's like, I know. That's what I've been saying for a week and nobody's listening to me. So then she's like, well, write it down again. Write down, when you get up in the morning, write it all, add what, or just text me the next thing, much as you can remember. Text it to me. And then from there, like they see the same things. They're trying to figure out what's going on. She goes to his parents with him and they're like, they don't know what to say. They're like, I don't know, that seems weird. They try to go to the science teacher and he is like, what would he, I don't know. I'm trying to think what other people's responses would be. They're like, no, we wrote all these things down. We had the snake, the billboard, there was maybe the sinkhole that opened up. I had a dream about the sinkhole, and then the sinkhole opened up. Had a dream, in the dream, this, and they list out all the things, and it correlates to something that exactly happened the way that happened in his dreams.
Mm.
So what is the teacher?
I don't know. I mean, most teachers are too busy.
Yeah.
Or at least
be like, that would make a great sci-fi story.
Yeah.
You should write a story about that. And then,
or maybe the teacher's on board. It's like, well, what is this all? Well, what's the fruition of this? And
yeah, I like that idea. What if the teacher at first is like, oh, it'd make a great sci-fi story. And he's like, I'm serious. And he's like, well, I'm serious too. Sounds like you got a great story there. But no, let's go through the details. And then
everything points to the science expo, whatever.
Yeah, expo. I like that. There's a big science expo coming to town.
And that final night, he's like, before the expo, in his dream, he meets the aliens who then explain everything. No, the alien there's a couple different ways we could go with that.
he meets the aliens, and then when he, remembers that part, he wakes up, calls her in the middle of the night. They don't know. They try calling Mr. Swanson, but he doesn't answer. So he sneaks out, gets on his bike, rides over to Linda. They know where Mr. Swanson lives. He lives across town. So they trek across town in the middle of the night and bang on Mr. Swanson's door. He answers the door, and they're like, aliens. It's aliens. The science expo is aliens. He's like, aliens, what? He's like, yeah, this is the dream. This is what. He's like, well, so then it could be like, well, they're coming to greet us, or they're going to take everybody from the town. you know, like when I saw the aliens, they didn't know I was there, and I saw what they were doing. Like, I don't think I was supposed to see any of this. We have to warn everyone. Like, nobody's going to believe us. We have to go shut down the science fair. We have to stop something. They try, and then, like, if we want to do Ray Bradbury style, like the whole town is just like, and somehow though Linda, Tom, and Mr. Swanson are the only three that don't go.
Yeah. Lots of ways you could go.
Yeah.
That's the whole point.
Yeah.
Everyone's going to go a little different.
Yeah. So if this was the prompt, how might your story go? But if you're trying to come up with a story, trying to come up with an idea for something, go to Reedsy. If you want to I'm sure they have other things. That's 94.
Yeah, there's fantasy, adult, adventure, angst, character, Christmas, dark, dialogue, dramatic. Anyway, there's a bunch. Oh, there's a whole bunch. All the way down to vampire and winter, Valentine's Day,
Well,
science fiction.
Valentine's is still in the winter, so the winter Valentine vampire.
There's tons of middle school historical
Or
fiction.
The winter vampire has a Valentine. That could work. That could be a story.
There's even one that's called Fluff.
Fluff, just fluff.
Yeah.
Oh, the group of prompts are
Mhm.
under the heading fluff. Nice.
Yeah, like set your story in a bar that doesn't serve alcohol.
Nice.
It's really a bar.
Well, what are they? Blurpos and Blurbos, and they sell it for 25 schmeckles.
Start in your story with a person buying a house plant.
Little Shop of Horrors right there.
Yeah.
So that is there. That's our improv. This is how we come up with stories. This is how we come up with, I mean, not exactly like this, but it could be just driving, the radio's playing, and, song comes on, and it's the Cranberries. All my dreams, never quite as it seems. I can't think of the words to that song. I can hear the whole song in my head,
Yeah.
but I can't think of the words. But anyway, you hear that tune, or you hear dream lover until then, I'll go to sleep and dream again. And then you're like, dream. Wait, what if some element of your dream came true every day? Oh man, character who's something from his dreams come true every day. And it's leading up to something. Every day, something new from his dream comes true. What aliens? There's a science fair coming up, and he's dreaming in preparation for the aliens that are coming and going to try to take over and take his whole town with them. And it's all prompted by because you heard the song "Dream Lover" on the radio.
Yeah. Yep. There's lots of ways to come up with stuff.
Yeah. So that's totally off the cuff. There's our short story prompt, and the bones of a short story, a beginning, a Ray Bradbury style ending. And then some stuff in between. And from there, it's just, okay, what are the details? What are all the things that he sees in his dreams? Or what are the significance of each of those things? Like snake, I don't know. The porch, the snake, the house, other than just seeing that, like what, other than being related to that expo. If a sinkhole opened, I'm like, I don't know why a sinkhole. I have no idea.
Yeah.
So, but that's where, okay, you change those elements to come up with something significant. Something happens that is significant to the story besides just it's an event that happened. You know, and then you got to add in the personality stuff of, you know, his mom grabbing his head and looking in his eyes. Are you coming down with something? And then Linda being like, you know, him stumbling into Linda, like, what are you doing? You know, and then telling her he's got to have, you know, Scooby-Doo and Shaggy. You got to have the dual characters, the supporting cast, the supporting roles. So,
yep.
And Mr. Swanson. Mr. Swanson's going to come in as another supporting character. So there you go. There's the bones of a story that we just improv came up with. There's all kinds of things that are out there that could prompt you and spark creativity to write a song, write a poem, write a story, any number of things. So it's kind of fun.
Yeah.
We should do this again. Get a group of people and you know, off of a prompt.
Definitely.
See where it goes. I mean, we've done that a little bit with in some writing groups and everything, but it's a little bit more formal. This would be fun. We're going to have a laid back discussion, have a couple of bowls of cheese balls, and just set up some mics and record the discussion. That'd be fun.
Sounds like a plan for the future.
Yeah. All righty. Well, thanks for coming along with us today. We appreciate those that come along and listen, and go out. If you have any comments on where the story might go, throw them out there. We'll look them up. We'll check out your ideas, see where that story prompt might lead you. If you like this prompt, if you like what we came up with and you want to write a story about it, go do it. Just send us a copy when you write it so we can be like, hey, somebody turned our story about Tom and the aliens and his dream and the dream into an actual sci-fi story. Well, thanks again. We'll give you some more updates on book stuff coming soon. Until next time, go in good spirits. Thanks for listening to the Creators Guild podcast. Don't forget to get your copy of A Flight from Shadows, available on Amazon. While you're there, please rate it and give it a review. If you like the Creators Guild, please like and subscribe, and make sure to share it with your friends. Until next time, go in good spirits.